Hey guys, welcome back. Just wanted to talk through a fishing trip here in Middle Tennessee. The two closest lakes to me are Old Hickory Lake and Percy Priest. These two lakes aren't that far apart, but it's amazing how different they fish. It's at the end of August. It's been hot, but the temperatures are starting to cool down some at night. What I've noticed on Old Hickory Lake is that the bass are starting to transition shallow and chasing tiny bait that are schooled up. The fish that we caught aren't big by any means, but it sure is a lot of fun. This first area that I'm fishing is right around the boat ramp. The plan is to fish along the bank in 5 foot of water or less. The water was a little dirty with some debris, so I decided to start off with a spinnerbait. This particular one is a finesse spinnerbait with a willow leaf blade to mimic small bait fish. This technique did not work, and I was getting more in open water, so I just started to throw around a little top water. That didn't work, so I followed it by my confidence bait, which is a 3.3 inch Keitech fat impact swimmer. You know, after fishing along this bank for 45 minutes or so and not getting a bite, I decided to go over to the next cove over. One of the things I want you to notice here is I started on the west side of the bank and casting over my trolling motor. This position is a lot more comfortable for me as I usually do a roll cast. With a roll cast, I feel like I'm going to hit my console, my graph, or the co-angler, and I'm not nearly as accurate. So here are the two casts from the first area where I'm casting uncomfortably to the right side of the bank. And as you can see here, I'm casting to the left side of the bank. I feel a lot more comfortable casting this way. Now that you have seen some fish catches, let's talk a little bit about what I was using. My first fish came on a 3.3 Fat Impact swimmer. I like to throw this on a Keitech jig head. This one is made out of tungsten. It's 3/16, and I have a ton of confidence in this bait. I throw it on a Shimano Zodius with a Shimano Metanium MGL 150 in a 7-speed reel that has a 12-pound trilene fluorocarbon. This combo allows me to easily throw that 3/16 ounce jig head, and if need be, I can go all the way down to an 1/8 ounce jig head, which is awesome as you know, I don't have to throw this on a spinning rod setup. I feel like I'm a lot more efficient and accurate with a bait caster. My second fish also came on a Keitech swim bait, but this time I decided to switch jig heads. I just remembered that I bought a new swim bait by Core Tackle. This is called the Tush. Tush stands for the ultimate swim bait head. And as you can see, this swim bait head is a lot different than the Keitech that I was throwing earlier. The biggest difference is the weight is along the shank of the hook, which buries the bait within the hook and gives it a very unique action as you're fishing that swim bait. But one of the things I notice is that this jig head doesn't work well on this Keitech swim bait, at least in the 3.3. If you fish these, you know that these are super soft and tear really easily. And you know, when I put this through the swim bait, it pretty much took up the whole swim bait, and just didn't really work well. But I was able to catch a fish. After catching that fish, didn't have a whole lot of confidence in this jig head, as again, I felt like this weight was protruding through the bait. So I went back to the Keitech swim bait. I'm not sure if you can see here, but I do have a little bit of a super glue residue, and so that's one of the things that stinks about throwing these little tiny swim baits is this right here will tend to work its way out, so I super glue them. All right, the next thing I want you to notice here is my brother starts catching them on a Texas rig crawl. I noticed this and decided to tie on a jig. Now, my confidence jig is a jig also made by Keitech. This is a 1/4 ounce tungsten head jig. As you can see here, I decided to put on a green pumpkin trailer. This trailer is made by Strike King. I think they call this a Scounbug or something like that. It's a fairly new trailer, but decided to go with this combo, and was also able to catch a fish or two. With this setup, I like to throw this on a Shimano X Pride. I think the length is 6'10". It's actually my square bill and jerkbait rod, so it has a moderate action. It's medium power, and for the most part, I'm able to catch fish around here locally because the fish that I tend to catch are like 1.5 pounds, maybe 2. And for the most part, I'm able to get a really good hook set. But I have noticed that, you know, when a bigger fish bites it and I don't have a good hook set, I don't feel like I have a really good penetration on the hook, even though the hook is really light wire. So I'm in the market for a 6'10", medium heavy, fast action rod. And so looking forward to testing out some new rods to throw this jig, because again, I have a lot of confidence in it. Well, I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to go ahead and conclude today's video. But if you enjoyed this format, make sure you like it. Drop me a comment, and I'll start working on the second half of this video to show you all the fish catches that we have throughout the day. So appreciate you all watching. I'll talk to y'all soon. See you later.